so I've asked her to come in with me so she can maybe ask some things that I might miss. I don't have a background in the jail, so hopefully she can help me out with some of those questions if they come up. So I'm going to give you that, and I'll give you my card also. And Denise,
So you're Michelle Faldenhorf.
Yep.
Faldendorf that I talked to on the phone.
And what I'll tell you,
Denise.
first of all, is that the room that we're in, it's recorded. It's recorded for a number of reasons. One is because I don't want to sit and take notes the whole time. I want to be able to focus my attention on what's actually happening. The other reason is whenever I interview a victim, a potential victim, a suspect, I always record it in the event that it becomes a criminal action and I need to play something in court. So just so that you know, there is back behind that sign and back behind that sign. That one has the audio, and then the video recorder is right back there. So just so you know that is happening. And then since you have your attorney here with you, it's a little bit different. I don't typically have a victim bring an attorney in. So what I'll tell you is this, is from the start, I mean, you can do things however you want. I prefer that you and I talk and I get your side of the story, your statement. Denise and I will probably have some questions and things. As her attorney, if you want to interrupt or say something, I just prefer that kind of from the start we get your story. And if you guys have things to interject or things to say, that we can kind of save it towards the end, because my main focus right now is you, if that makes sense. Sound good? Yep. Okay, let's get started with some really basic stuff then first. How about a full legal name?
It's Sandra Sue. Do you want to spell for you? Grazzini hyphen Rucki.
And how do you say that?
Grazzini-Rucki.
Rucki, okay. And how about your date of birth?
9/30/65.
Okay, and a mailing address.
That one?
Yeah, that's the court-ordered one.
Okay.
Yeah. And any place where you can get mail.
Okay.
I know some people don't like to give a
No,
protected
no.
location.
Oh, no, I wasn't
or-
questioning you. It's just,
Yeah.
this is a court-ordered mailing address.
Oh, then let's use that.
Okay. It's 200
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Lane,
Mm-hmm.
apartment 216, Plymouth. I don't know. This is my
That's her.
55441.
5441. Okay, and how about a contact phone number if somebody were to need to leave you a message?
Can I use yours?
Mhm.
I don't have a phone. 952 836 6000.
Okay. And if you're willing to, since it's your phone, can I get your name also?
Michael
Michael?
Redin, R-H-E-D-I-N.
R-H-E-D-I-N?
Yes, I think we talked on the phone.
He just does PREA for County.
I don't know that I talked to you. In regards to this?
Yeah.
No.
No, then,
Oh, was it?
no,
Okay.
no. And then your attorney again, it's Michelle, is that right?
Yes, Michelle McDonald.
Okay. And is it Michelle with one L or two?
Mine's with 2 L's and an E at the end. I think like yours. Yeah, like yours. And MacDonald is MacDonald.
I think I have. Michelle, can I get your phone number again? I have it in my other file, I think.
Yes, the main number is 651
Mm-hmm.
222 4400.
Alright, and today is June 23rd, it's about 11:15. And Denise and I actually I think Denise received the paperwork before I did, a while back in regards to a letter that you had sent to the Dakota County Sheriff's Office to Sheriff Tim Leslie. As a result of that, I'm not sure how it trickled down, but it was given to us. And my guess, and you might know more, is that because it involved, I believe, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, Dakota County, and the Dakota County Sheriff's Office, they requested an independent sheriff's office take a look at it, just to review it and kind of have a sense of transparency and all of that stuff for it. I'm guessing that's why. I get cases like this all the time, and that's typically what it is. I have not personally talked to anybody in regards to this case except for you and to Ms. McDonald. I purposefully do that because I want to hear your version of the events and your side of the story first, and then see where we're going to go from there. So based on the information that was forwarded to me, it looks like you sent a letter to Sheriff Leslie on May 17th of 2016, and I have a copy of that. It looks like you've got it right there. I've read it, I've gone through it, but just kind of in your own words, I want to hear your side of the story and why you're here today.
Okay, you kind of want me to start from the time he came in?
Yeah, well, let's do this.
What's the best way, how do you want me to know? What's the best way
What
to-
I'll kind of set it up that it's my understanding that that you were in custody at was it at the Ramsey County Workhouse?
Correct.
Okay, and because of something that we don't need to get into, you sought medical attention, and that was that at Regents Hospital?
They took me in, there was an incident where we don't really know what happened. I woke up on the floor
Okay,
and I'd broken my nose, fractured my skull, I was laying in a pile of blood.
okay,
They got me into the back of the ambulance with the Ramsey County Deputy Lee, I believe his
Okay.
name was. And he stayed in the back with me until they took me to Regents.
okay. So you were at Regents Hospital, and is Deputy Lee a Ramsey County
Correct,
deputy?
yes.
Okay, so you're at Regents, you went by ambulance, so you were at, let me ask you this. Were you at the Ramsey County Workhouse because of a Ramsey County charge or because of a Dakota County charge?
Dakota County Charge.
Okay. Can I ask, why is it that you were housed in Ramsey County instead of Dakota County?
Because Dakota County doesn't house women.
Okay. So you were at the Ramsey County, was it the jail or the workhouse?
Workhouse.
Workhouse.
I don't know which address is that one.
It's on Century
Century.
Avenue? Yeah. So Ramsey County on Century because Dakota doesn't house women. Didn't know that. Okay. So because of a medical incident, you were brought to Regents Hospital. Did Deputy Lee go with you to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And let's just go from there. So you get to Regents, you're getting medical attention,
Yep.
and let's go from there.
Back in the room. Okay. I'm back in the room, and everybody was talking. They had me in a separate area, but and they kept saying they had to have Dakota come in because I was Dakota's responsibility.
Yep.
Okay, so they kept talking about Dakota coming in, and then the next thing I knew, right at the front of the door was Deputy Gonder. And I was like, oh God, no, not you.
Okay. So,
And they're like, what's going on, what's going on? I'm like, no, anybody but him.
okay. So this talk and everything is taking place. Are you in the ER or are you in a private room at this point?
I'm in the ER,
Still in the ER, and Deputy Gonder shows up.
correct, from Dakota County.
Okay. And you voiced your concern or that you did not want Deputy Gonder there.
As soon as he walked in the door.
Okay. Why didn't you want that particular deputy in the room with you?
For numerous reasons.
Okay.
Obviously you're aware that I've been in and out of this parental deprivation case and family court case.
Honestly,
Oh, okay, good.
no, that's,
I've been in and out of Dakota counties.
I come in with a clean slate. I just
Hastings.
wanna,
I've had previous incidents with him
okay. While in custody or in court?
in court.
Okay.
His behavior to me in court, going through security to get into the court, and then there was a situation with my attorney,
Okay.
which she would have to tell you about because I don't want to say it incorrectly. A whole situation with my attorney. So he was already on notice for all that.
Okay, when you say on notice, what do you mean?
I don't know exactly what she filed.
Okay. So would it be safe to say that you had
Prior conflicts with him.
prior conflicts, you and your attorney, and we don't need to go into that,
Okay.
just that you have a prior history with him.
Yes.
It'd be safe to say that the two of you didn't get along for whatever reason.
I wouldn't say that I didn't get along with him. I'd say his behavior is extremely unprofessional.
Okay?
Obviously, you don't really say anything to them. They kind of, some officers take their power to a whole nother level, shall we say.
Okay. So in court, you had some past experiences with him that weren't great.
Correct.
Okay. So he shows up.
He
you
shows
see
up,
that he's the
And I was
person there
like,
to.
oh, no. I kept, I'm like, anybody but you, anybody. I asked Ramsey to stay. I said, please stay, do not leave me with him. Because I didn't know what he was gonna do. I mean, this guy clearly, he was very clear how I thought he was gonna act was how he acted. He had a bone to pick.
Okay. So when you voiced your concern about anybody but him, did he or anybody else do anything about that?
No, Ramsey said there's nothing we can do. Dakota County has to take you, and Officer Lee walked out.
Okay.
And then there was a girl who's like in charge of all the Ramsey people, the Ramsey officers.
Okay.
And she's like, sorry, there's nothing we can do.
Okay.
And then I kept asking Gonder, please call anybody, I'll take anybody but you.
Okay. What was his response to that?
There's nobody on duty but me. And I said, well, how about a female? And then he said, there's not a single woman on duty. I said, anybody but you. He said, there is nobody available to come. I'm the only one. And he started to laugh.
Okay. And I don't know, Deputy Gonder, can you just give me a brief description? Obviously, it sounds like a male.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Tim Gonder,
Tim?
fair-skinned. I just saw him the other day at the courthouse. Maybe 5'10".
Okay. Does he have hair? Shaved head? Dark hair? Light hair?
I gotta see him. I see somebody turn off. I mean, I recognized him right when I walked in the courthouse the other day.
Okay.
I mean, I walked in and went, oh God,
Okay. Do you know, is he a licensed deputy or is he a correctional officer?
licensed deputy.
Okay. How about an approximate age?
40s.
40s? Okay.
I'm not good at describing people.
Oh, that's all right. And having his name and stuff, that'll be plenty. So, okay, so he says there's nobody but him, and you're still down in the ER.
I'm in the ER,
Okay.
in the
Walk me
bed.
through that.
I'm, they've got my hand handcuffed to the bed, which
Okay.
that's standard. I mean, I'm not arguing with any of that stuff. That's what they have. I mean, I know that because Michael works for corrections. So and he
So
does
one
transport. so I know
hand
Fran-
was handcuffed.
One hand was handcuffed.
Okay.
And they were coming in and out, and Gonder walked in. We went back and forth on words. No, I can't. I'm not getting anybody else. And he's laughing. You know, too bad you got me.
Mm-hmm.
He's going on. And then he grabbed my ankle and put a handcuff on that and handcuffed. It was this leg
Okay.
to the bottom of the bed. And then he took the handcuff off the wrist and gave it back to Dakota, Ramsey people.
Okay.
And then put his on.
Okay, so your left leg was cuffed to the bed and then
My right
and
arm
right arm. Okay.
was cuffed up.
And right arm. Do you know the difference between a handcuff and a shackle?
Yes.
Okay. Was your leg in an actual handcuff or was it in a shackle?
At this time,
If you know. If you don't, that's
What is
okay
that?
too.
I believe at this time it was in a, was it a shackle or the handcuff? The shackle's not the chain, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I have to say probably shackle. I'm not positive.
Okay.
I can't say for sure.
Okay. So you guys are in there. You're getting medical attention. Is it one of the rooms, the ER rooms that just has the curtain over the front of the door?
Yep. And then
Okay.
on the door it had like a big huge window,
Okay.
but the door is open and the curtain's open. But it's the same, a typical ER.
Okay. Okay. So you guys are in there and walk me through that.
Basically, there was 3 separate doctors, a lot of nurses that were coming in and out. Nobody ever cleaned my face up. I hadn't seen what I looked like. They started out, I had to go to the bathroom really, really bad, and they're like, well, they wanted to wait in case they needed like samples or anything.
Yeah.
So the doctors were coming in, I kept getting upset. He had 2 phones. He had like a smaller, like a little, it was a smaller phone, and then he had like a big, like a Galaxy. Kind of like a bigger screen one, and he had 2 phones, and he was every time I was talking to the doctor, I kept looking over at him, and he's like going on both phones,
Okay.
and he's repeating everything the doctor says through the phones,
Okay. How do you know he was repeating what was being said through the phone?
because the doctor would say something to me, I'd start to answer, and he goes, "Okay, now the doctor just asked her this."
Okay. So
So it was a play-by-play.
Okay. So he was talking, not texting.
it was talking on the one, and then I kept looking over at him. He'd be talking as a play-by-play, and then he'd get off that phone. Then he started texting. Then he was going back and forth between. It was like kind of like your phone with the big screen, and then he had a smaller one, like a little, maybe it's like an iPhone or something. It was a smaller one.
Okay.
It's the same. It's like all the other ones that the officers carry, because they all carry 2 phones. It looks like the same one all the other officers
I don't
carry.
carry 2.
Oh yeah, other officers had these small phones too.
Okay.
It's just a small. It wasn't a flip. It was a small phone.
Just a small one,
But
okay.
He was talking on
So
the.
he's talking on it while you're meeting with the doctors?
Yeah, and I kept
nurses?
looking, and he was doing play-by-plays,
Okay,
and then he would stop, and then he'd be on the other phone texting. I'm like, okay, one of them thought you weren't supposed to even use phones in there. So then it got, I'm trying to think. He was talking about, the staff would come in, he'd be talking about, she's high profile, and he thought that was all funny
he was saying this to the staff?
to the staff.
Okay,
And then there was the incident when I had to go to the bathroom. This is pretty much in the beginning.
okay. And this is in the same room?
We're all in the same room, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going, I gotta go to the bathroom, He said, they're busy, I'm not gonna bother them. I said, could you please tell them I have to go? We went back and forth on that. He's
Were
like,
you alone in the room with them? Okay, I just want to clear
Is the
that
curtain
up.
still open at this time? Okay, so the curtain's open.
He's sitting right at the foot of the bed. I kept asking him about going to the bathroom. He's like, no. And he wouldn't get them for me, and he just kept saying that they're busy. And I'm like, I gotta go really bad. So then he finally went and got them. He got a nurse. Hold on, something in my eye. Piece of hair wet. Sorry. So he went and got a nurse, and I was, it's like spread eagle or whatever you guys call it.
Or what?
I call it spread eagle. They had that hand and my leg.
Okay.
I don't want to say the wrong term. I don't want to.
Yeah, well, you can, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you call that. It was opposite. Anyways, he came in, the nurse moved the commode, it's like on a wheels.
Yeah.
She rolled it over to the bed, and he just sat there, staring at me. I go, are you gonna leave? Could you at least stand behind the curtain, or, turn or something? He's like, no. And then the nurse said something to him, and he's like, it's for your protection.
Okay.
So he ended up taking my foot, shackle off my foot, off my left foot, and then he unhooked my right, you know the bars that come down on the side of the bed?
Yeah.
Unhooked it
Like
up
a
the
bed
one.
rail?
Bed rail.
Yeah.
And then hooked me to the other side. And I understand you have procedure, but let's use some common sense. I'm not in there for murder.
So unshackled your leg, and then undid the handcuff.
Handcuffs it to the
And
other
then
side
moved it over
while
and
I'm waiting to go to the
cuffed it.
bathroom. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. And then sat back down and sat and stared at me. He had no intention of going anywhere. And at this point I was like, I gotta go. And the nurse is like, can you turn around? She tried to step in front of me to like kind of cover me a little bit, but he would not leave for nothing.
Okay. The nurse was in the room. Do you happen to know the nurse's name that was there?
She moved it over. She tried to block me, but he was not gonna leave.
One thing, if I forget to bring this up, is they may or may not, I can try to do this without consent, but since it involves medical things, they might not give it to me. I might see about having you sign a medical release form so I can find out who the nurse was that was present in there. They can limit the release to certain things, so I don't need your whole medical history. It could be just for what you were there for that day and what doctors and nurses were in the room with you and treated you. So I might bring that up at the end. I just say that now so I don't forget it. Would you be able to just give me kind of a rough draw, layout of the room, where the nurse was, where you were, where the commode was?
Okay, this is the door. This was the bed. He was sitting right here. All the like supplies and stuff are here.
Yeah.
The curtain obviously is here. She came in. Like I said, he moved my hand over to here, undid my foot. She helped me get onto the commode. She was waiting for me. She was kind of trying to block me from him.
Okay. Can you draw where the commode was next
Oh,
to them?
right here.
Okay.
She rolled it over to here.
Okay.
She got me on there. She was kind of waiting, and he obviously wasn't leaving, so I think she was, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
the way I perceived it was that she was trying to at least try to cover me up a little bit from him.
So where was she standing in
Like-
relation to you?
I think it was like right here.
Okay, so here's the commode. He's sitting here close to the door.
Yep.
And she was in between the commode
No.
and the deputy.
No. Can I show you?
Yeah.
Okay. If he's sitting there,
Yep.
she's standing here.
Okay.
He was, I don't remember how the conversation went. He was talking
That's
about
fine.
something about he can't leave. And she's like, he's not gonna leave. And I got, because I couldn't go. I mean, I had to go, but now I'm just like,
Yeah, little stage fright.
yeah. And I'm like, oh geez. So
So
then
were you-
she left and I sat there.
Okay, were your legs facing the wall or were they facing towards the door?
They were facing here.
Okay, so towards the door and towards the deputy.
Yeah, like he's sitting there. I was like this. She was right here.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm trying to think how it went down. I mean, there's a lot going on. So she waited on there. Did she get me on? She waited for a little bit, and then I was like, oh God. I go, it's going to take me a minute. And she's like, well, he's not leaving. I'll be back. So then she left.
Why did she leave if,
Because I was just sitting there.
okay.
I'm trying to think. I know she walked out for a little bit because I was handcuffed like this,
Mhm.
and I was sitting on the commode. And I don't know if she walked around the bed. I don't remember. I got to think about it. I really do.
So she told you he's not leaving, and kind of, your perception was that she was kind of standing there to block you a little bit?
Yeah, it seemed like
But
she was
then
trying to help me
Okay.
to get out there, and obviously I was stable.
Okay.
And then they were having some conversation. I guess that, in my opinion, it was like she was thinking that maybe this is the standard procedure.
Okay. I guess I'm just, and I'll talk to her, I'm just wondering if she sensed that you weren't comfortable with that, why she left. But I guess that's
And
something
I'm
I'll have
trying
to
to
ask
remember.
her.
I just don't remember if she got me on there and stood there for a while, but if I remember sitting there, and I had my head down, I looked up, and he's just sitting there staring at me.
Okay.
And
So
I
he's
don't rem-
facing you, watching you on
Yes.
this mode? Okay. Well, at that point, what were you wearing?
I had underwear on that I pulled down to go.
Okay.
And then I just had, what do you call it?
Hospital gown?
Yep, just
Okay.
tied in the back.
So, and if it's the regular hospital gowns, it's just the ones that tie up at the top and then probably about midway down your back. Okay.
And I
then-
can't tell you if they're, I know the top one was tied.
Okay.
I don't know anymore.
So at least the upper portion of your body was covered by the gown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had the upper, geez, I don't know, because I mean, I'm all messed.
Well, I'm just saying that you, like, not to be crude, but your breasts weren't exposed or you weren't sitting there naked on the commode.
No, I was not naked on the
so
that I can
you
say.
had, and it was tied or at least up over your shoulders.
At that time, yes.
Okay, and you had underwear on, and obviously you were trying to use the restroom, so they were probably pulled down a little bit. Okay.
And I don't remember, honestly, at that point, he wasn't, I mean, you're not even, what are you gonna do at this point?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I remember that it being long on my legs, but I remember feeling really uncomfortable because you could see my butt.
Okay.
And I think I was holding the dress because I was afraid the way I was sitting there that I was gonna get
Yeah.
crap on it. I mean, I don't
Right.
think I was like I wasn't covering myself like that.
You know, you said that he could see your butt. Tell me about that. How is it that he could see that?
At this time,
Yeah.
yeah, he could see the side.
Okay. So you pointed up here, kind of like your upper thigh.
Yep, you could see
area.
up to this area.
Okay.
Because you're sitting right on top of the commode.
Yeah.
So he could see that area that was sitting there, because I'm thinking, I can't remember if I was holding on to the gown so it wouldn't get covered. All I was thinking about was going to the bathroom, and I had to
Sure.
go really bad.
Okay. So this is happening, and you said that he was staring at you or looking at you, and then kind of the nurse stepped out of the room.
I can't remember if she stepped out of the room and walked around. I can't remember how.
Okay. So you're not
This
sure
has been a long
if the nurse was present or not.
I know she came in there because she rolled it over, and I remember her standing there in the front because she helped me get on it.
Okay. And that's okay. If you don't remember, you're not sure if she stayed in
I
there
can't say
or
for
not.
sure at this time.
Okay. All right. Walk me through the rest of it.
Let me think. We stayed down there, I can't even remember till what time. They just kept coming in, the doctors would come in, They talked to me, like I said, the same thing. It was like a play-by-play. He'd get on the phone, he'd talk, and when the doctors would leave, he'd be sitting there talking about my case. I mean, talking about all my health issues.
Okay. I'm gonna back you up for 1 second. And some of the questions I might ask might seem kind of silly, but it's for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Did you eventually use the commode then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you used the
And
commode.
then why I can't remember about the nurse is because I remember, I don't know if it's the same nurse, but I remember a nurse going, oh my God, this girl really had to go.
Okay.
Because it was really full.
While you were in the process of using the commode or finishing up on the commode, did he say anything to you?
This is why I told you in the beginning, play by play what happened so you'd help me remember everything. It's just going through all this. I'm trying to remember the best I can for you.
And if you can't remember, I would rather have you tell me that you don't remember than to tell me something that isn't true.
No, I know, I'm trying.
And it's understandable if you don't remember.
I mean, I'm sure that something will trigger and all of a sudden I'll remember and I'll go, oh God, I gotta call her and tell her what I remembered, but.
Did you get off the commode at some point?
Yes, he did walk,
okay.
yep, he sat
Talk
right there
about
while I
that.
got off the commode. It's on wheels and it's like a seat on a white seat on the
Yeah.
top. I remember standing, I stood up and tried to pull it up with my other hand, my underwear.
Okay.
And then I crawled back into bed. And at this point I was just like, he's not gonna,
And again, I'm not saying this to be rude or disgusting, but when you went to go clean yourself up, can you tell me, was any part of your body exposed then? That he or anybody else would have been able to see?
I would say yeah. Could I say what, I mean, I'm at this point, you get to the point where you can't even fight back.
Okay.
Obviously the guy's not gonna leave. He's gonna embarrass me and humiliate me. I mean, I'm trying to pretty much try to cover myself up the best I can. I'm not gonna obviously, put it out there,
Sure,
but I'm gonna take care of my necessities.
sure. So you tried to cover yourself up while you cleaned yourself up
Yes.
after finishing using the commode. Okay. Okay. So you finish up, you get back onto the bed. You said that he kept reporting back to somebody on the phone.
Yeah,
what's
because he
going
had
on.
to come over and undo my wrist.
Mhm.
So he had to walk up and to put me on the other wrist. And then I had to get back up in the bed because I had my wrist and I crawled back up. And then he took my leg and then rehooked it up again.
Okay. So you went.
So he was standing right there while I did it all.
Okay. So you got back in bed. You readjusted shackles and handcuffs. Okay. Then tell me what happened.
Just basically, they were coming in and out. The nurses were like, they could tell I was upset. I was asking the nurses if they could get somebody, could they make a call to get another officer. I remember I kept complaining about him.
Okay.
That went on for a while. Trying to think. I know I'm gonna forget a whole bunch.
Well, and honestly, some of the stuff that is important to you might not be relative to the case. So that's why you tell me anything and everything that you think I should know.
And I'm just trying to think. I mean, before we got to the room, before he started taking the pictures and all that, I'm trying to think of everything that went down.
That's what I was just going to say, or going to ask. At some point, were you admitted to a regular room?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and was he still with you when that happened?
Yes, he would
Okay.
not leave me. I understand their policies and that. Yeah. The fact is, I was humiliated.
Okay.
I am scared of this man. Why am I being alone with this man that I've had problems with in the past and is complaining the whole time that my attorney is suing him? And then you leave me hanging. I'm not yelling, but you leave me shackled in a room with this guy alone.
I'm going to back you up to something you just said. You said that you were afraid of him. Why were you afraid of him?
Because I'm in a room with him. I'm shackled in I don't know what he would do.
Okay. Why? And again, I'm just asking.
Now I've had other officers that I've never been. Why? I don't know what your policy. I'm handcuffed, my foot in my hand. Okay. Could you? I guess when he's acting like he won't even walk behind the curtain when a doctor even asks him. I don't know. That's why I was afraid of him. I didn't know he was going to retaliate on me because of Michelle.
Okay.
Because he was upset about that.
You just said, I don't know what he would do. Why was that thought in your mind? I'm trying to think through this. Why you would have that thought even come into your mind?
I think just because of the behavior that he's been in the past, and I couldn't believe that out of all the people that they could send, they would send him. So I was thinking, okay, if they sent him, it's because he's going to retaliate against me.
Okay.
Because they could have sent anybody. But they send the one guy that Michelle is suing, and I've had issues with. That's why I was so scared and thought, okay, is he going to retaliate against me? Is he going to do something? I didn't know.
And I should have asked this before. What was the date that you were brought down to Regents?
11/24/2015.
Okay, 11/24/2015. And we don't need to get into this part of it, but you're referencing that he is part of a civil action between you and your attorney. Do you know when that was filed?
2013.
Okay. So there's history dating back to 2013 that you were aware of with your attorney and this deputy.
Yes.
And now here you are in November of 2015, and he's the deputy that's assigned to you.
Yes,
Okay.
he was a deputy when Michelle was arrested out of the court.
Okay, we don't,
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can tell.
Well, I
me
had an issue with him because he told me to stand back. I mean, he was the one
Okay.
that arrested her, and he was the one that had words with me
Okay,
in the court.
so back in 2013, he had words with you.
Yeah, and then every time that I would show up to court, he would show up in the courtroom. They'd already have a deputy in there, but he made a point. I mean, it's like every time I turned around, he was always there. I'm going through security. I mean, come on.
Okay.
I just find it very strange that he's always on me. And then I'm put in a situation like this,
Mhm.
I would have had no problem with anybody. But why do you send the one guy? You know, and to him, this is humorous. I mean, I'm humiliated, I'm embarrassed, I'm scared.
Okay. So you were brought up or admitted into a regular room.
So, I'm trying to think of all this stuff. I don't want to miss anything. So all this stuff went on down in the ER. Then they admitted me upstairs to a room.
Okay.
And it's the same kind of thing. It was a very large...
I just want to, the bringing of you up into the room. How was
Yes,
what did Gonder
Gonder
do?
was
Did he
there the
unhook
whole-
you? Did he, how did that, if try to remember.
Yeah, everything was for your protection. And I understand that, I understand the policies
Mhm.
that the police department or the corrections officers / police officers do have. And I mean, just from my history of what I know from my friend. I mean, I know they have policies, but I also know that they are supposed to take some things into basic common sense. And I think that's what was scaring me the most,
Okay.
was that he was taking it to another level.
Okay.
And that's why I was getting, why is he talking about me as if I'm this, this is for your protection and I'm trying to protect you. That's all he kept saying to the staff.
When you say taking it to another level, what does that mean?
There's kind of common sense when, in my eyes, that sometimes you have to use your best judgment.
Okay.
And to me, best judgment, cracking jokes about me being high profile, talking about my case, is not taking a good judgment. When a doctor asks you to leave the room so he can examine her, because clearly this girl's getting upset why I have to pull down her shirt, to check her heart and do all this stuff, you're clearly upsetting her. And his response is, well, it's for your protection, I'm protecting you from her. Okay, I'm already shackled and handcuffed. You could have stood behind the curtain. You could have even stood behind the door and watched. I'm not in there on a murder charge. I'm not, meaning using your best, how do I word this? As an officer, I know that you guys have to sometimes use your own personal judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never had a problem with somebody and they've never acted inappropriate, you've never had a problem, you've got them confined, there's people all over, they have no history that they're going to have been abusive, or you kind of take some things into perspective.
Okay.
And don't put yourself, like Gonder put himself in a position, even when he's being asked to not, clearly this girl, I'm just trying to say, use your best judgment. And I think he did not use good judgment on this at all.
Okay.
In all of his actions. So, sorry.
Okay,
Right.
no, I'm listening. Okay.
I mean, you're not gonna throw the handcuffs on a person that's got no legs, and I mean, you know what I mean by officers use best judgment sometimes. Still follow procedures, but use your best judgment, and don't discuss.
Do you think, based on what you know, that he was following procedures or not following procedures?
I think when he was asked by the doctors, unless I was, in my opinion, unless I have had issues with the police officers, I've been disrespectful, or I have a violent history, or I'm in there for a capital crime, and you've got me shackled, and you have a doctor and nurses there, and they're going, she's obviously in no condition to do anything. Just for her, could you just stand behind the curtain?
Okay.
So we could do, to me, I think that's the best judgment on that.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that he could have used different judgment and not followed procedure?
I have no problem with following procedures, but when it affects the health of somebody, or when you're being asked by the doctor to do it,
Okay.
I think that if I had been murdered or had problems with officers, you know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you, do you think he could have maybe been a little bit more lenient with procedures with you based on what the doctors had
I think
said
s-
and based on the situation?
I think even in the SOP, in all of them, in any position, you're hired to take best judgments. There is following procedures, but it also tells you that they're hiring you to sometimes use your best judgment.
Okay. So do you think he should have followed his judgment versus what superiors or what his procedures tell him to do? That he
No.
could have used discretion.
I think that he could have followed the procedures of having me handcuffed,
Okay.
asking the officers or the doctors, he got saying, I'm protecting you, we're fine, we're okay.
Okay.
She's clearly in no, we're not asking you to break it, could you not just stand behind the curtain?
Okay.
I'm sure that there's somewhere in there that I can't say your procedures, I'm just saying in the SOPs.
No, and that's
In most cases, I'm just saying, I don't think it's procedure to be asked by a doctor, the girl is handcuffed, do you feel comfortable? And the doctor's saying, we feel fine, we're okay with you, we want to do our job, and you're clearly upsetting this woman.
Okay. And that's why I asked, kind of changed it at the end, is do you think he could have used discretion and maybe done things differently?
I think he should have taken all the things into play.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not asking anybody to break their rules, but I don't think anybody's hiring robots.
Okay.
And in most procedures, I know in mine, these are our procedures, but that sometimes you have to deviate in a way to use your best judgment.
Okay.
And if it was something that was a very bad person, maybe he would have had to do more than he would normally have done. And if you're a little bit, obviously the doctors are feeling okay and saying this is, we're trying to do this and she's obviously not talking because you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Standing another foot away is not gonna,
Okay.
I just think best judgment should be used and I don't think he used it.
I'm a little confused. Can you clarify for me now?
I know I'm rambling, I'm
referring?
sorry.
No. Are you referring to using best judgment as far as him standing behind the curtain, or as far as him removing the shackles? They were both kind of thrown in this conversation,
Oh.
and I'm not sure.
I understand, I have no problem with him leaving the shackles on. There was some point where the doctor's like, could you at least remove the shackles so we can, she's shackled here.
Mm-hmm.
We're fine with her. We're not worried at all. But we're trying to do our job here. And it sounded like in other proceedings that when the doctors have had to do this, that the officers have been more accommodating. That's the impression I got. Because they're kind of like, you're already shackled here. Can we at least, so you can put your hands up above your head so we can listen, do all this
Can we
stuff.
talk about what he did? Because you don't know what his
Alright.
why he did what he did, but you know what I mean?
Okay.
Instead
And,
of going
that's
on
what
and
we'll
on
probably
about
get into later on.
yeah,
with
it's
the
about the
people.
facts, not about
Yeah.
you know.
So you were
What
brought
he
up,
did, yeah.
You were brought up to I don't want to say a private room, but a room to be admitted.
Correct.
And what was going on there
Um,
that you think we should know about?
I went into the room, again, shackled to the wrist and the ankle. He was again, every time all different doctors were coming in, he was doing a play-by-play on both phones. He was either talking through the phones or texting on the phones. We exchanged words back and forth. They weren't like vulgar, but it's like, really, Gonder, why are you doing this? There's nobody else you can call to come in. I mean, you just, so at one time, the nurse came in, she asked him to at least let me adjust. You know, she can't even turn on her back. She does have a broken nose. I mean, could we try it a little bit? Nope, it's procedure. That's the way, but it's related to her health. I mean, can you shackle both feet then, if that's what so she can at least, at least turn or use her arms a
Was
little
it
bit.
because you had the opposite arm and the opposite legs? So
She
that
was
you were
asking
able
if there's
to-
any other ways that he could
Okay.
do this, or would you be willing to repeatedly, and he says, I'm not gonna keep getting up. So every time she wants to turn, to shackle the other side.
Okay.
Because she even said, okay, fine, if that's what we're gonna do it, well, can you just keep, give her a half an hour, then let her rotate to the other side? And he said he would not do that either.
Okay.
He continued to make phone calls, give play-by-plays, laugh and joke.
When you say laugh and joke,
Talking about my case, talking
Okay.
about what was going on.
okay.
I'm gonna get into all the details of that. And then the nurse came in, and he walked up to the bed, and he pulled out a phone like this. And he went, and then it went click, 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 click. And I go, what are you doing? And he turned it around, he goes, don't you wanna see what you look like? And then he started scrolling his finger.
Okay.
And that was the first time I saw myself. My nose was over on the side, my face was covered, they never cleaned me up, my face was all covered in blood. And then he's laughing, and he sat back down, he's like this, on his big phone. Okay, I don't know about you, but that is humiliating. And where did those pictures go? And what are the
Which phone
reasons?
did he take the pictures on?
The one that looks like that.
Okay, so was it the one, do you think it was his personal phone or the work phone?
I believed it was his personal phone.
Okay.
My understanding, I'm just saying, is that they use their personal phones in Dakota County. I don't know why he had two phones, but I think
Okay.
it's a.
Okay.
That's
Did
my
he tell you what he was doing with the pictures?
No, he snapped him and he goes, you want to see what you look like? And then he starts, I'm like, what are you doing? Take those off there. Why are you doing this? Well, I thought you'd like to see what you look like. No.
Okay.
And then he went directly down, sat down, and he was like this
Okay.
on that phone.
So you don't know if he deleted them, forwarded them, or something else?
I do not know. But
Okay.
why did this man take pictures of me? He never said it's for any reason other than he's just laughing and going through them himself, walking back to his chair.
Do you know, is it possible, or did he talk to you about having to send them back to
No,
a superior?
never said a word.
Or for a case file or anything like that?
No.
And if he did, he didn't discuss that with you?
He never said a word, and if that was it, then he should have said something. And I still wouldn't have approved it. I would have asked for the nurse to come in.
Okay.
And if he needed to take pictures, why didn't he do it? Why did he wait for the nurse to leave? And then he just proceeded. We went back and forth. I asked, every time I needed to go to the bathroom, a nurse had to come in. The nurse asked him if she could shut the door. She said, there's nothing in the bathroom. Can we shut the door? He said, no, the door has to remain open. She's tried to stand in front of the door. He told her to move to the side.
Okay. Can you, I wrote up in the corner here, because I'm gonna hold on to this, I wrote ER in the corner. Can you kind of give me a map of the room that you were in?
Okay.
Kind of with the bathroom, the room set
That
up?
is here. Bathroom is here. He was sitting here. And the outside door is here.
So you got up to use the restroom?
Every time I crawled out of the bed,
Mhm.
which my backside would be showing, I mean, my underwear creeps up.
Okay.
Because I had to hold on to the nurse to get out of the bed each and every time.
Okay.
He did undo my shackles, but I had to hold on to her
Okay.
to get to the bed, and my whole backside's showing, my underwear's up my crack.
Okay.
And I would look back and I'm like, come on, really? I mean, I don't know how many times I pleaded in bed with him to at least show some respect.
Okay.
Then we walked down to the bathroom, which was, say this corner, down here. And then he was sitting, this was the desk, and he was sitting on a chair with wheels here.
Okay.
And then the toilet was in here, she was standing here, and he would start to roll over there. And she'd be going, I'm standing right here,
Okay. So if the stool was here, where was the entryway into the bathroom?
right here.
Okay. So if he rolled forward, was he able to see any part of your leg? So if you were,
I can't say what he saw.
if you were sitting here, were your legs facing? Which way
At
were your legs
At
facing?
this time, But I don't know, once I sat in there, I can't tell you if he got up to walk over. I can't tell you what he did. All I know is that she was making comments like, she'd start to block, she's like, oh God.
Okay.
Because she couldn't even believe his behavior.
Was the doorway
Door had to remain open.
Okay, was it a standard sized doorway?
It was like this.
Okay. Were you ever able to see him or his silhouette in the doorway?
I was on the toilet.
Okay. Which way were your legs facing when you sat down? Okay. So if you're sitting here, legs this way, and so you're facing that way. Okay. So, and then the nurse was in the doorway area?
Yep, and then she'd walk over and you're just gonna leave me for a second to go.
Okay.
I'm like, can I shut the door and have a little bit? And she goes, well, let me try. She goes, he's not even gonna let you shut the door. We can try to put the water. And I remember asking her, is he standing outside the door? Is he standing right there?
Okay. And what
Because
was,
I kept thinking he was standing right here watching me go to the bathroom.
okay. What was her response to as he's standing right there?
She's just shaking her head. She goes, I've never seen nothing like this.
Okay. But she didn't answer whether or not he
I
was
can't
standing at the
remember.
door? Okay.
I gotta think about it.
Okay. But he obviously was not in the actual room with you while you were using the bathroom?
He was not inside the bathroom.
Okay.
But I believe that he was standing right here because there would be no other reason why she could be right there. She couldn't even shut the door for me to go.
Okay. You say you believe he was standing right there.
Yes,
Why,
I feel like he was standing there
why do you think that?
because of the way he was acting and how close I could hear his voice. Because his voice sounded like it was in the distance when it was over here, and while she was talking and while I was talking to her, I could hear him talking to her, and his voice seemed to be getting closer and closer to the door. It seemed like it wasn't as muffled.
Okay, I gotcha.
That's why I thought he was right there, because I thought I could hear his voice getting clearer.
Okay.
And then when I came out a few times, he was, this is the windows, he was up here, it's like a window and they have like, I'm trying to think, you know, sometimes, you know the big windows they have?
Yeah.
He'd be standing over here, and then she'd help me back out, and I'm like, come on, Gonder, can I get in the bed with the nurse? He showed me no privacy, and I understand that I am a inmate, but let's use this is a little to the extreme. I'm embarrassed, I'm humiliated. He just got done taking pictures of me, and every time I have to go to the bathroom, we have to go through this whole procedure. You have to watch me get out of the bed, watch me get into the bed. Could you at least let the nurse cover me up? And I'm sorry, I'm very upset.
No, that's right, and that's why I let you
I'm sorry.
tell me whatever it is you want to tell me. That's important. So I'm just gonna write up here, just room, so that we know this is when you were in your own room.
I want to know what those pictures are.
Well, that's something that we'll have to look into. Yep.
Sandra, you said that this same kind of situation happened every time you had to use the restroom?
Every time I got out of the bed.
How many times did that happen?
A lot. I don't.
Any idea how many?
I have bladder issues,
Well, and actually,
so I go a lot.
what time do you think you were brought to the ER? On the day?
I don't remember. It was in the middle of the night. I could say maybe after 1 and before 4 or 5.
Okay, so like 1 in the morning. Okay, between 1 and 5. Do you remember approximately what time you got up to your own room?
It was in the morning. I
Like
can't say.
Early morning?
I can't say for sure. Maybe 10, 11.
Oh, okay. So
Approximately.
10 to 11 in your own room. And he was with you all this time?
Yes, he would not leave for nothing.
So for like 12?
No,
or-
he didn't get there until like 5 in the morning.
Okay, so you were still in the ER at 5 in the morning. Okay. ER, and he got there at 5.
Yeah, approximately.
Roughly, yeah. I'm just trying to get a feel for how much time he was there. Then you get up to your room, you figured around 10 to 11. And we'll come back to some other stuff, but how long did you stay at Regions?
Deputy O'Mara came in, and I don't
Well,
remember.
we'll get to some of the time frame here, but like, were you there a day, 2 days, 3 days?
Got out that night.
You got out that night, okay. So you guys are back,
Approximately maybe between 5 and 7.
okay, so you're up in your room around 10, 11 in the morning. About what time did Gonder, was he relieved by somebody else and gone for the day?
It was in the afternoon.
Okay.
I'd say between maybe 1 and 3. Because I remember asking him about why he was there so long. Because he said he wanted to stay. And then he was bitching on the other hand for staying. I'm like, okay, well, you just, 10 minutes ago, you're bitching about being here, and now you want to stay.
So he, as far as you could tell, was there from around 5 in the morning until around 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that would be what, 7, 8, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours he was with you.
So 5 in the morning, I'm guessing, yeah, about 5 in the morning, I'm thinking he came, and I'm thinking he got off about between 1 to 3, maybe 1. I don't remember time O'Mara got there.
So approximately, we're looking at 8 to 10 hours with her. During that 8 to 10 hour time period, if you know, how many times do you think you had to use the restroom?
I used the commode only once.
Yep, down in the ER.
That was the only time I went then.
Okay.
And I would say I probably got up at least once an hour. That's it, at least once an hour I was getting up. Because I had to ask him to keep calling the nurse for me. Because he wouldn't let me have the button. And then she finally came in, because I'm like, he won't call you when I need you. And then she said, here, I'll put it here for you. You just push it if you need me.
Okay.
I have a question about the button. So he was in charge of the medical button for a while?
Yes, yes.
He took charge of the medical button?
Yes, he wasn't going to let me have anything. She had put it over the back of the bed. I'm trying to picture. She swung it over. It was on a cord. She swung it over, and then he came over and took it off and put it to the table.
Okay. How long was the cord that it was on?
God, I don't know when it's dropped to the bed. I just remember hearing the flip. You know, you hear like a cord flip the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember.
And you couldn't reach it?
I could have reached it.
You could have reached it?
I could have reached it.
After he moved it, or?
Not after he moved
Okay,
it.
So
that's what I'm trying to.
you're here, say your
I'm
head,
trying to remember.
I'm guessing your head would be here, your feet are here.
Yeah, because she rolled over
And-
the TV, and there was something on the TV, and I don't
Okay.
remember what it was. There was something I could have pushed the button for there.
Okay, and then I'm guessing if he's sitting over here, was the
There was
cord...
a table here.
Okay, was the cord probably coming down this way?
I thought it was back here. I can't remember for
Okay,
sure.
so when he...
I remember her going, oh, here, why don't you push the button if you knew? Because I said, he won't get you when I gotta go.
Okay, so when he had the corded button, where did he have it?
He put it back here.
He put it back
Whatever it was
on the
that she
table
gave
here?
me, which I thought it was the button,
Okay.
it got put back here
Okay,
on a table.
okay, so the cord was long enough that it could reach a table here or you in the bed?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been just right up here.
Okay, so if it was here and he was sitting here, was he physically holding it or he had it
No,
on
he
the
wasn't
table?
physically holding it.
Okay, okay.
No.
Okay, so walk me through the rest of it, what you think is relevant.
Just basically when I needed to go, he wasn't gonna get the nurse. He asked me, he continued to watch me. I told you I would have preferred anybody there but him. I did not feel comfortable with him.
He was alone with you a lot?
A lot. I even asked the nurses to stay with me. I was humiliated. I want to know why this man took pictures of me. There was no reason, and then he just laughs about it? I just thought you'd like to know what you look like. That's strange. That's weird. And then he'd wait every time the nurse would leave, then he'd make all these comments to me. Oh, you're high profile, haha, you should see you now. And then when I saw him, and then he ended up leaving, and when he left, O'Mara came on. I don't know, young, big kid, kind of a bigger kid, I don't know, maybe 30s,
Okay.
fair-skinned. Gonder was giving him directions as if Gonder was maybe his superior. I don't know if he was, but he was directing him as if he was his superior. It wasn't just a trade-off of positions. It was a direct directive to him. She is not to be given this. Do not let her call her attorney. Do not let her have a magazine to read with. He goes, I'm really upset because her and her attorney are suing me. And then O'Mara just sat there and listened to him.
Mm-hmm.
He just had this puzzled look on his face, and Gonder continued to go on and on about we're suing him and he's not happy about it, and oh, I'm sure I'm going to hear about this too. And then he ended up leaving. I'm trying to remember more. And then he just said, what was that all about?
Okay.
And then he sat down. He still followed all the procedures, except for followed. But like when the nurse would come in, he would at least turn his. He would turn his seat.
Okay.
He would at least turn his back. Because I go, Mara, really? He's like, not a problem. He'd turn his back at least. When I had to go to the bathroom and stuff, he'd at least turn around. And it gave me some privacy. Then we went down to the, he wasn't on his phone. I didn't, and I'm not sticking up for the kid, I'm just telling you, this is, he was much more professional. I think that's important.
Okay.
Because Gonder did not have to ask the way he acted. This kid did, or I shouldn't say kid, he's an adult. He wasn't on the phone. He wasn't, he never took pictures of me. He still followed procedure, what the procedures were, but he was cordial to me.
Okay.
We did
Professional and
go.
cordial.
He was professional and he was cordial. Yes.
Okay.
I just think that's important.
Okay.
Because I don't know. He wasn't my best friend clearly, but he was at least professional and cordial.
Sure.
We did have to go down to go on a treadmill. I was on the treadmill, and I was like, because O'Mara was standing there, and they had a nurse and a doctor there. And I said, could you please ask him? And he's like, I'm not supposed to stand behind her. I got to keep her in my sight. And then the doctor said, listen, I need to put her on the treadmill. The whole backside's going to be opened.
Mm-hmm.
He said, she's clearly, embarrassed, and he said, not a problem. And O'Mara went and stood behind the curtain.
Okay.
And then I went on the treadmill and had to run out because I was in that smock.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got back into the bed, they covered me up. Then he'd just like step up in front, and then he'd stand there and watch.
Okay.
I just think that's relevant.
Okay.
Did I miss anything, Michelle?
I don't know.
Can I ask him what I've missed?
Absolutely.
Okay, Michael, what did I miss? Because you've heard me talk about this.
Well, the pictures were kind of a big thing, but you already mentioned that.
Yeah, I was pretty still
I think
upset.
we covered most of it.
Were you alone with O'Mara in the room?
Oh, yes.
And was the medical button, was that accessible at this point once O'Mara took over?
Yes. If I had to go to the bathroom, O'Mara right away went and got the nurse. I just remember he would at least turn. And I wasn't handcuffed. I'm not trying to get him in trouble, so please don't get him in trouble.
Oh, so you didn't have handcuffs on?
No. I was handcuffed to the bed,
Okay.
the way procedure was. But when the nurse had to help me get out of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
he unhooked, and he didn't just like stand there like Gonder did.
But did he rehook you?
He let me go to the bathroom. I was holding
Okay.
on the nurse. When I came back into
Then
the
he hooked you
bed,
back up.
then he would wait till I got covered,
Okay.
and then she'd say, okay, she's covered now, and then he'd walk back up.
Okay.
It's just the way he did it made me realize that Gonder, even worse than what I thought Gonder did. I just think he used better judgment.
Anything else?
Michael, what am I forgetting?
I think you covered most of it.
Did I ramble?
The next
A little
step
bit.
in the process will be to kind of go over a few things. We will, well, let me ask you, what do you want to see come out of this before we, move forward? What kind of results are you looking for?
I want him held accountable.
Okay, and
I want to
what does that mean?
file harassment order against him, that I don't get retaliation from him again. I want some protection from the Dakota County officers. I don't want to be in a situation again where I do end up going back and something else happens.
Okay,
I want him held accountable professionally. If this had been Gonder's first incident, but it appears that, from what I'm being told, that Gonder has quite a record and it keeps getting covered up.
when you say accountable, what does that mean? That means something different to probably each person in this room. What does that mean to you?
I think I think he should be terminated for the reason of that he put himself in a position with me where he knew I was vulnerable, where he could have had any other officer take that position, and to put me in a position where I think he used his badge abusively. And I don't want to deal with him again, and I would hate to see what he would do to somebody else. I think he took this to a whole nother level.
Okay. So
I
as far
really-
as accountability goes, you're looking to have him terminated.
I think he should be terminated. I think this was an intent. He was intentionally doing this.
Okay.
I'm asking you this, I don't know if you were even aware, were you aware at this time of the Don Mashak incident?
No,
Okay.
but I did hear all about it.
You heard about it before this?
No, I just found out about this
Oh, okay.
Just the other day.
just the other day.
Okay.
Of all these issues that we're finding out about Gonder.
Well, and
And that's not your
right,
problem, I know.
and I was gonna say, I purposefully don't wanna know anything because I want your case to be looked at by us independently of any of that, because I think that's only fair to you.
No, I appreciate that, thank you.
Because what we're
And I'm
looking.
not yelling at you when
No,
I'm hyper.
you're a loud talker, I get it, I get it.
Geez, I tell you.
Don't mean to yell, I'm not yelling, I'm so upset. I'm humiliated.
We do it that way because we look at it, like we say, from a PREA aspect, we look at it from a criminal aspect. Does it rise to a certain level under different guidelines? And in both of those instances, when we review cases, we cannot look at other cases. We can't look at their personal life. We can't look at their character. Just like I don't look at that with you. That's why I don't want to know about any pending cases you have, civil, criminal, or otherwise. And I just explained that to you so you know kind of where I'm coming from. Doesn't mean I don't care or that I don't believe you about certain things. It just means I want to keep your case about you. That's all it is. So talking about the results, the no retaliation part, obviously we don't have any control over that. What we do after we're done with our case is, if it's criminal, we submit it to the county attorney's office to review it. If it becomes an internal issue, a PREA issue, policy violation issue, that's when we need to talk to our bosses because Washington County has no right to hand out discipline to other agencies. They're not our jurisdiction. I can't, discipline somebody from Hennepin County. They can't discipline me, but we need to make it's not even our recommendation, make our reports available to them, and they can decide based on our reports what they want to do, if that's the route it's going.
And I need to know that I would never ask for anybody to be terminated. That is not something I would do. But this is such an intentional act by him, and he took it to such a whole nother level.
Well, and bringing up the termination part of it, are you licensed or?
I used to be.
Used to be, okay. So you might be able to talk with her about the whole termination process. Again, that's not something that we would
Can you
decide.
explain that to me later?
It's.
I don't want to waste your time.
Trust me, you'll have steam coming out. It has to do with unions and.
Oh, is it the post board you talk about?
Well, there's a lot.
Well, it has to talk. It involves a lot of stuff. So I bring that up because I'm just going down with what you wanted as a result. As far as a harassment restraining order against him, I would refer you to your attorney. There's different advocate agencies, Tubman Family Alliance.
I know.
There's all sorts of places. You can even download the paperwork online. It would be a harassment restraining order. The other order is an order for protection, but you don't qualify for that because you have to have a qualifying relationship.
You have to have a family member.
Yep, so I would refer you to probably online or with an advocate to look at the restraining order.
Yep, I know the policies on both of them.
So,
What else did I tell you that I wanted? I was telling you.
Well, you're talking about
I don't mean to refer to him, but I'm
No, we
go
can
for
talk.
it.
apology or maybe.
Yeah, oh yeah, I want a public apology.
Okay.
I would like a written apology to me, and I think that the hospital staff deserves one.
one thing, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of scattered too as I'm thinking as I write this. Just for my own peace of mind and kind of, I like to have a full picture of what I'm doing. This happened in November of 2015, and your letter is addressed to the sheriff in May of 2016.
I wasn't released from jail
Okay.
until the end of February.
Okay, let me just do this here. So
That's okay.
when At what point were you in custody, just rough estimate, at the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, or at the Ramsey County Workhouse?
November 6th
Okay.
to February 24th.
To February 24th, okay. Okay, and then,
And then I kept trying to write things that were going down.
okay, what does that mean? You
I was,
kept trying to-
well, I'm sorry, I mean, it sounds like this isn't a big deal, and maybe it's not to you, but
No,
to
and
me,
that's why I don't
I am
mean-
completely humiliated. And now that I know that there's pictures out, I believe there are pictures out there floating me,
Okay.
because there's no other reason to take them. And him sitting there knowing that he sat and watched me and intimidated
Mm-hmm.
me and did all these things, I was just writing down notes.
Okay,
And then,
so, and I don't ask to be kind of
Oh, I
flip
know.
about it, I'm trying to.
why, you're asking why I waited so long? Because
Yeah.
when I got out of jail, I had this and this and this and all these things going on.
Okay,
I'm trying to get situated, and I wanted to make sure this was very accurate, and I was right, and I had it together.
so you're taking notes, you want to make sure it was accurate before you submitted it?
Yes, I wanted to make sure
Okay.
everything was accurate. Help Michelle.
Oh, I was going to ask you, 2 phones he had, and you keep pointing. Was it a big one like that?
The one he took the pictures of was a big one like that.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the other big phone near you.
Oh, this?
Yeah, I'm just
And then he
like,
had, the other one was a
do that?
black one.
I'm thinking he
Was it a
has.
flip phone or was it smaller like that?
It wasn't
Like a
like,
smartphone?
I don't think it was like, look like a little iPhone, kind of like that.
Okay.
It had,
Like
I
a
thought it
4
had
maybe?
buttons on it
It
though.
wasn't a flip phone.
Oh, what do you call it? It looked like a BlackBerry, something like that. I didn't see, it was, I remember it had a black case on it.
Okay.
But the one he took pictures, I saw that because he stuck it right in my face.
Mhm.
And then I'm thinking, okay, while he's sitting over there, then I was freaking out going, has he been taking pictures of me the whole time? If he has no problem to walk up to me and show me he's taking pictures of me, what else is he taking pictures of?
Because he was on the phone the whole time. So that,
Well, he's on the
Did you,
phone.
and,
he's
and I'm
taking-
just gonna ask this, did you see him take any other pictures other than the one that you know he took because he showed you?
Well, he walked right up to my face and he went zap,
Okay.
zap, zap. I mean,
Were you able to see any of the things he was doing on the phone? Was he watching a movie? Was he texting? Was he playing?
no, he was right in front of
Candy
me.
Crush?
No, he was texting
It was
and
texting.
talking.
Okay.
And I asked him at one point, who are you talking to? And he said he was talking to the sergeant on duty.
Okay,
And that she has to know everything that's going on.
okay. Do you know who the sergeant on duty was that day?
It was a woman and I do not know.
Okay.
Because he referred to her as she. And then I'm like, but you're talking to more than her. He goes, well, everybody has to be kept in the loop. And I go, who's everybody?
Okay.
Who are you telling all about my... And he goes, I have a right to. You're an inmate. You're in my custody.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's,
Michael, am I missing anything?
I think you covered most of it.
so that
Right
was
on.
that was interesting. So he was talking to but
But he's talking to other
he's
people
talking,
too.
and he said he told you that. He
Yes.
said, I'm telling everybody, or
He said, we all have to be kept in the loop of what's going on. I'm like,
well,
he didn't tell you who the other people were there, or any
Nope.
lieutenants, or
no, he
the
mentioned
sheriff, or
it
anybody
was a
like that?
sergeant and it was a female. But I
Okay.
said, but you're talking to other people.
Okay. What did he say when you said you're talking to other people?
Well, he was telling everybody, I have to keep everybody in the loop.
Okay. He said I have to keep everybody in the loop, but didn't tell you who everybody was.
Nope. And I said, who's everybody?
Okay.
Because he was going back and forth on both phones.
and she asked about pictures. You don't have any knowledge that could he have been taking other pictures, but that was
Well, that was my,
the
then I'm
one
thinking if
thing
he
he
says,
showed you.
yeah, if he has no problem walking, going up and snapping pictures and turning around going here and sliding his finger across, showing, I'm like,
But you only have direct knowledge of the ones that he showed you. He may or may not have.
I can only say what I actually know for sure.
Okay.
I can only say what I know for sure. I
Okay.
can tell you what I believe, but I can tell you I know for a fact that
When you said he was doing this, how many pictures did he have of you?
I remember him going across there was at least 3 pictures. I remember him going across at least 3 pictures, showing me 3 pictures.
And in the pictures, what could you see?
My face, my nose was on the side, and my face was covered in blood.
So were all 3 pictures like from the neck up, or was it full picture of you in the bed, something else?
The pictures when he got them,
Yeah.
the part that he showed me was a close up of me
Okay.
because you could see, you know how you can sometimes tell if it's been
Yeah.
Made big-
Zoomed in.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you make it zoomed in.
Yeah.
The only portion that he showed me on it when he started sliding his finger
Mhm.
was the head up.
Okay. And you made the swiping motion.
So I know he didn't
you
zoom the other
see
ones.
zooming or any.
Only the first one.
You're not sure.
Not sure, but the other ones
And
they
the other
weren't
2 were
zoomed.
swiped. Okay, but all
He
three
didn't
pictures
like
were,
swipe and zoom, no.
okay, all three were relatively similar in that it showed your face.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct, yeah. He just, the first one, he looked like he zoomed, but then when he swiped his finger,
Mhm.
it was just showing, I'm trying to think. No, wait, you could see the, it wasn't just the neck, because you could see my,
okay.
but I
So
was
it kind of-
covered.
you were just kind of framed out. It was mainly the focus was your face or your head.
Yeah, you could see my smock, but obviously my boobs weren't sticking
Right.
out, but I think it was from like here up.
Okay.
But I didn't have a cover on there on that picture. But
Okay.
the focus was to show me my face.
Okay. I think
Am I missing anything, Michael? I know I wanted an apology, a public apology for it.
I think you covered most of it.
Michelle?
I'm just, when you said he had control of the medical button, or, you know, he was kind of,
He
You
didn't
were-
take
or-
it back to his seat.
no,
No, he
listen to
never
me,
did that.
I'm trying to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay, let me finish the question. So, he's somewhere, and were you just, can you call the nurse? I mean, was it
I had
that
to
way
ask
where you
him for
didn't,
everything.
where you weren't able to reach? And then, were there any other reasons you might have called the nurse other than the
Yes,
bathroom? Were there
I
other
asked
reasons?
for water, I asked for ice, I asked for juice, because I hadn't eaten.
Any medical thing that you
I
needed?
asked him, yeah, oh, thank you. Yes, because I asked him, I said I was in pain. I said, could you get her for some medicine? Because I was in so much pain. I had to go through him to get anything, and it was at his willy. Because that's why I remember getting mad, because he kept getting on the phone, and I had to wait for him to get off the phone. So I'd be sitting there waiting for him to get off the phone, because I had to ask him to go get the nurse for what I needed.
when you asked him
And there
to
was
get the nurse
medicine.
because of
Oh,
you wanted some meds.
Yeah, it was, you didn't want to ask him, but I mean, I did, but he didn't make it pleasant.
Okay, but did he get her?
He would wait till
Or-
whatever he was doing.
Okay.
He'd go, yeah, I can see her, she's busy, you gotta wait.
How much time do you think passed from the time you asked to the time that he let the nurse know you wanted some meds or wanted to address your pain issues?
I would say, I don't remember exactly, but I can say that I remember I waited a more than I had to ask repeatedly before he would do it.
So you think you waited 5 minutes?
Oh, no,
15 minutes? A half hour?
I would say at least 30.
Okay.
Would he do that when you wanted to go to the bathroom too? He made you wait?
Made me
That
wait.
one.
I don't think I have any more questions. You, please? I'm gonna go grab something here real quick.
You're probably gonna need the releases so that they can see who was on duty and things like that.
Okay, but if I release to them, then it gets get to Dakota County.
Yeah, well, let's make sure that isn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
You've gotta release at least that day.
I have no problem releasing to you guys, but I want to know it stays with
Only for our
you.
organization,
Yeah.
it's only for us in this particular investigation.
Okay, so
It won't get to him.
No.
Yeah, okay.
it's not going to get to Gonder or to Dakota at all.
No.
Okay, you gotta work. I've had quite a few issues with them. I'm a little nervous.
All right. This was the release of health information that I talked to you about. You guys might want to go over it. Basically what it is, it's nothing other than the ordinary filling out your name and all of that kind of stuff. What I would be looking to do, and this is again totally if you want me to or not, would be to pull your medical records for that day to be able to look at what physicians treated you, what nurses treated you. Oftentimes, if there are incidents or concerns, they will actually note them in your chart. So it would allow me to look at everything from the time you were admitted to the time you were discharged, to see if there's anything referenced there, like I said, so I could get names of doctors, nurses, etc., so that we could potentially interview them to see if they had any additional information for us. But it would be completely and totally up to you. Really, I mean, they have everything on here. The only thing I would really be interested in,
Is physician notes. Like,
the ER, see,
But I was just asking
the ER
Denise.
report.
and I know I sound overly concerned, but I have an issue with Dakota and trusting them. I wanted, and she just said that.
I would suggest that you give these people all of those notes.
Oh yeah, I intended to, but like I was just telling Denise,
Because as long as they're not gonna turn them over to Gonder or Dakota County, there's no issue. And
Well, and now that you say that, here's the thing with that. once medical reports are released, there's obviously HIPAA issues. What we do is we're a paperless county, or we're trying to be. We scan everything to files and attach them for records. When I get medical reports, I actually don't even scan them. I put them in a manila envelope and I enter them into our evidence. Once a case is resolved, they're destroyed, so that there's really no evidence that I got your medical reports other than a note saying I obtained the release. I would scan a copy of the release in there, and that would be it. This case will be public info. We don't call the press and say, hey, we don't call family members, I don't call him, I don't call anybody. I do my report, whoever wants to look at it, it's there for you to look at. The only thing that would ever be redacted is medical information, which I don't put in my reports anyway, or things involving juveniles, which we don't have that here. So just know that anybody could pull a copy of the report and take a look at it. That includes him, any attorneys. His superiors will get a copy of it because we're investigating it for them. So I just want to throw that out there so that you know. As far as him getting copies of your medical stuff, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I want you to use all the information you need.
Yeah. So what I would do here, let's see. You know what, I should look before I go through the trouble of filling this out.
I'm wondering too, what I've done on these is if, when you get it, could you get a copy to her as well?
A copy of the
Of whatever you get,
Oh, thank you,
a
Michelle.
copy to her.
medical reports. I can't release them to anybody.
Not even her?
Nope, if you want them, you have to contact Regions Hospital yourself and get them.
Okay.
I already have them.
Yeah.
That's right. they
Oh, you
release-
have some of
They
I
them?
have
release them.
everything.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
sent them to Hennepin for me.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
No, that's no.
I was gonna say, if you want to do it that way and just give them to me that way, but you know, let's
No, I think
I'll say let's do
she
it
should
this
get
way
them
because then I
from
can
the,
say
Yep.
I got them from them.
She should get
I
them
was
from
gonna say, yeah,
the,
they released them down in him in Hennepin. Yeah, I don't.
Well, and that way too, it looks like one less person in the mix is better.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think too,
I
her
was just
getting them
thinking for
direct
ease,
is very
it would be
important.
a lot easier
Yeah.
for me, but it's not
Yeah.
about me, so.
Chain of custody, she gets them direct.
Is there anything?
I think there's a date you can terminate it too. That,
There is a date you can terminate it because I terminated it. We only had it for us for 30 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Ramsey had to turn it over to you within 30
So
days.
she's probably gonna order them right away, so.
I have to look at the second page of this. I
You
think
won't
it
have
has
to worry.
the termination rate on it. Let me double check.
Yeah. And that's great that you have the diligence about putting it in a separate envelope and, where are these public?
Where what
Okay.
public?
You said it's gonna be made public, that anybody
Oh,
can see.
no, I don't.
Your report.
They would have to know and do a name search and say, oh, look, she filed a police report in Washington County and then pull it.
Oh, got
I mean,
it,
it's just
okay.
In general.
Just like
it's
anything
public.
else.
So regular
Yeah,
ICR.
like a speeding ticket's public.
Can you
Right,
send me
okay.
a copy of it?
You would have to request a copy through our
Yeah.
records department.
Yeah.
So I need to
They
file an
want
IFP here. Okay.
every,
just like
yeah.
any other.
I got to get an IFP here. then.
And my recommendation to you is,
Let her finish her
thank you.
investigation.
Because otherwise you're gonna be here every other week, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do one report,
Yeah.
then I gotta wait and try to do an interview with somebody else and do other reports, so it, save yourself some time and effort and.
It used to be, and I've been doing this a long time, 29 years, that you couldn't even get a report until the investigation was complete.
You-
Well, that's what I
can.
was planning on
Okay.
doing. I was going
Yeah.
to wait till it's
Because
all
this is
over.
a kind of a private investigation, it becomes
It's
public
not
once
public
it's...
until it's done.
Yeah.
I know,
Yep.
but I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter. Everybody knows what he did. So, what about my pictures that he took? Is it
They're
anyone-
investigating that.
What's
We'll
the
have to
subpoena
figure
then?
that out.
Okay, so that's part of this.
Well, no, they're investigating it. They'll look at his phone that day or whatever they need to do with the phones, find out what phones he was
Well, and
using.
and I'll be honest with you, is it criminal? No. Well, I shouldn't say no. We will have to figure that out if it's criminal or not. If it falls under those guidelines, it's possible to subpoena the phone and get a warrant for it. It's a huge process, it's very invasive, he has rights. Will a judge sign an order allowing me to do that? I don't know.
Is it a Washington County judge or Dakota judge that would have to do it?
That's the other thing. Chances are, since we are investigating it, they will attempt to keep everything over here
In your jurisdiction?
because it doesn't make sense to have somebody else do it. But the other thing that we're going to have an issue with is I don't know where he lives. I don't know his personal address. I know where he works. He works in Dakota County. Therefore, Dakota County has jurisdiction over me seizing someone's phone in Dakota County. So there's a lot of legal issues that go along with it. I don't do cases like this all the time, but I've done enough that we'll iron that stuff out, and that's why it takes some time. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. We do stuff like this all the time. So will they have me seize the phone? I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. That's part of the investigation.
I wasn't rushing, I'm
Yeah.
just trying
No,
to.
and I just wanna
before
let
this
you
get
know
out all over, I mean,
That it's possible that that we'll never know where the pictures are or what happened to them. It's possible if he lets me speak with him that he'll say, yeah, I have the pictures. I had to send them to, so-and-so. Here they are. They're part of a file. I've got them right here. These are the pictures she was talking about. So, I mean, a million different things in between that could happen. It's all going to depend on legal issues and what he says or doesn't say. So, let's see, regions.
do you experience this a lot at the jail?
Every day.
Seriously? This is common, this behavior is common.
That's not what she's talking
No, I
about.
thought you
He's
meant
talking
that.
about the bureaucracy.
I'm talking about, I thought you were talking about PREA incidences.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I was thinking you were talking about the bureaucracy. You know how.
We live it
And it's
every day.
Yeah, it's
Well, and I think
important
TV,
to have,
TV has
but-
ruined us in that they think fingerprints come back in, a half an hour, and that facial recognition is a computer screen going boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
and, it's,
Yeah, you can solve a case in an hour,
Yeah.
I
right?
could go to the bathroom, sorry.
the
Can I go to the
first
bathroom?
48 is, yeah.
Do you mind? Can I go
do you
look?
actually
Oh, the first
know around
48.
the corner?
Yeah, that's a
Pointer in
ruin.
the direction of it? Yeah, you can get in here.
You can never do a
Yeah.
thorough investigation like that. And
Yeah,
maybe
I
just to
mean-
apprehend somebody, but to actually investigate.
Yeah, it's,
I get what you're
TV
saying.
has ruined us. Let's
And
see.
also, when you get the investigation, all the stuff,
You can try a case
you
in
have to
an
make
hour.
an analysis
Yeah.
that, there's probable cause, and I have the definition of that it's not just reasonable suspicion, it's probable cause that you could prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and then there's exonerating evidence that they have to look at, but then, of course, everybody wants vindication, so the officers get like, oh boy, I guess I gotta bring this, and I don't know, it's very interesting.
What is today?
23rd.
23rd. And I don't know how fast they are. I'm gone Monday.
I'd say a month. Put a
I
month
think
on
when
it.
they got mine right away.
Yeah.
It took less than a week.
Yeah, it was one day, so one day, so it isn't. I don't think they treated her other than that, right?
Mm-mm.
Well, and yeah, and the fact that I'm just asking for a really short time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time she was admitted, was that.
So it'd be the morning and the next day, so you'd have to put 2 days on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, I don't need any of that.
And that's
Actually, it's just that one day. Because if she got
In the
admitted
morning.
at 1 in the morning and she left
Okay.
that evening,
right.
I usually
I think it is.
do the day before and
On
the
the
day
day.
after, just in
Makes
case
sense.
somebody dated something wrong. Mhm.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, and reason for release.
Do you know where I could? This is a PREA investigation, right? For
Yep.
the most part. Do you know
PREA
where?
and criminal.
Okay.
We
PREA and criminal. What statutes would be involved?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what
Could
we're
be
gonna see.
sexual or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, you
it's-
just look at the facts. And, got
Yep,
it.
we take a look at everything, because regardless, even if and I'm not saying this, but even if I was in a situation where I'm like, this absolutely is not criminal, even just looking at the letter or anything else, I still always meet with somebody because maybe something was missed. And then based on what you say, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna see what path we're gonna go with it, what's the next step in the investigation, and that's why I always wait to talk to the person first. So I'm gonna show you this here, Sandra, just basically, some cheaters. It's nothing crazy, it has your name, the information that you gave me. It says that you're willing to release it to an organization, namely me, that I'm looking at Regions as the hospital, both the hospital and the ER. And again, just put here the Washington County Sheriff's Office, Detective Michelle Fullendorf, and that I'm asking that they get me this information by June 29th. That gives them quite a bit of time.
The only thing I'd add, and I know you say you have them or whatever, but I don't, if you could, whatever you get, also mail a copy to her. Oh, that's what you said.
That's, no,
you
Just
could.
the
because it's
forgot.
health, sorry.
I forgot. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Sorry.
Emergency room.
That makes sense.
Yep, they gave me Advil and stuff. Yep.
Double check here. Did they do a X-ray or CT or anything like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
they did all that.
I'm gonna see if they took photos of you, if the hospital staff did, and then,
They didn't take like pictures, which I was kind of surprised.
Well, they're gonna. I mean, maybe they did. How do you know? I mean, just let her ask.
Yeah, honestly.
and that's why I ask about meds, because if they gave you pain medication or something, you know, sometimes you're kind of foggy or you don't remember, so I'm gonna, notes in regards to
They
X-ray.
don't give
they take
medications,
photos.
narcotics or anything like that. If you're,
So Advil.
yeah.
Okay. So I don't want your actual X-rays and CT scans, I just want the notes in regards to them.
Okay.
Not checking any of this off, it's not
There's
relevant.
nothing there.
And again, it says your name. The reason that I'm requesting this is because I put you're requesting it because it will help us in our investigation and also for legal reasons.
Okay.
And then this is the part that I want you to read. This is all the wonderful legal stuff.
Which doesn't hold water with the judge anyway. So
Yeah. Well, this is actually for the hospital.
I
It's
know.
telling you that you can revoke consent if you call me between now and the time I send it off and say, hey, I changed my mind, I don't want you to have it. Then I just say, all right, shred it, I'm done with it, I don't want it.
Okay, what do we want to put for the end date?
Oh,
A
I
month.
think she
One
said
second.
the 29th, wasn't it?
consent,
I can put an end date on my
it
consent.
says right now consent will end 1 year from the date of this form that it's signed unless you put a specific date in here.
So put about a month, then it
Put 30
automatically.
days.
30
Yeah, let's go
days?
30 days, so July 23rd. I'll let you fill that in.
And you think you'll get it to them before?
She gets it right away. He
I
picks
have
it up
a
the same
nice
day.
stretch of vacation coming up, so I would like to get it sent by tomorrow and get it back by Monday or Tuesday next week.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the Regions is kind of sticklers about things, so if this form isn't gonna be good enough for them, but I think they're the ones that actually gave us this, I would be in contact with you. I'm gonna have you sign it again here also.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, this
not
is-
sign it, but date it
Yeah,
right there.
sorry.
It looks like the same one.
It's the same one I did for her.
Because we have Lakeview wants a different one from us, different, and it's like, can you just do a standardized form or?
Do you want me to notarize or anything sometimes?
Nope, I don't even need it, they take my word and my business card as,
They don't need to. Michelle, you want to look at this? It looks pretty fine to me.
let me just take.
We can get a copy.
This I will give you a
Okay.
copy of, yeah. Let me just double check on and make sure I got all the boxes that I need. Oh, right here, specific dates of treatment.
Did you need the date of service?
And we said what? You said it was the 24th of
11.
November. I'm gonna go 11/23, in case they
Mhm.
dated something wrong, through 11/25.
Mhm.
1/5, I gotta remember to do that. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna cross out history. I don't want. And lab reports.
No, there was no drugs or anything.
Well, and I asked that because, and again, not saying that it will happen.
No, it's okay. I'm just telling you, they
I
checked
just
me
try
twice.
to think ahead and say, they could say, well, she was hopped up on drugs, how does she know what happened? She had pain meds, she had this, she had this. So I'm trying to think of what.
Well, just so you're aware, I'd been incarcerated while in Florida.
Mm-hmm,
So I've been incarcerated since October 17th.
okay.
I was,
So you'd be, you'd be good to go. Well, and I'm just wondering too, because they could say if they prescribed you something and then.
They did send
and
me
then you
home with
took
the
something.
prescription, send me back to the jail with
Take
the
a look at that.
prescription.
Okay.
They did do that, but they wouldn't give me anything there, and then Gonder even
can just
said,
let me come.
is that policy for transport? You're not allowed to have any medication other than Advil?
I'm gonna
Just
make,
thinking
Typically,
lab.
they don't. You,
Do you,
the other people from the
when they
facility.
do lab, yeah, you don't need the reports, but did they come into your room? I guess they'd have who came into your room and did the labs. They came into your room.
Yes, they
and
came
took
in to do
blood?
labs.
When the stuff that I saw, there was 2 main doctors that had their names mostly on the
I saw
reports.
3 doctors.
Yeah.
The cardiologist that I saw while I was in the room was a woman because, oh, that reminds me. Because Gonder, she said, because your broken nose is so bad and with your head injury, I'm going to send you back with codeine 3. And Gonder said she can't, I remember that. Remember I told you, Michael, because she's like, she can't have that. And he turned around.
Oh, okay, we
and
better tell
I
him
forgot
this.
about that. And then she looked back at him, she goes, I'm the physician. She goes, she can't have a narcotic in the jail. And she said, I'm the physician. I am ordering it for the jail will handle it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, because he would jump in and make comments. I forgot about that.
Well, you better
Thanks
tell
for
her.
reminding me that.
Well,
Sorry.
It's being recorded.
And he probably knows his jail's procedures on medication, and that is pretty standard. That it's been some time now that all jails have pretty much put a ban on narcotics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was codeine 3.
Yeah.
They sent it. They didn't give it to me there, but they sent it back to the jail,
Yeah, they sent a prescription.
which was fine. I had no problem. But she was saying she was ordering it for me at the jail. So when I got brought back to the jail, they could give it to me. And he's like, she can't have that. And that's why
And
she
you did end up having it, didn't
Probably
you?
because the jail wouldn't administer a narcotic.
But they did. She said,
But they-
I'm the doctor. I'm ordering it.
I'm not
But the
saying the doctor in the ER. I'm talking about the jail. Jail policies nowadays have gone to the way of
There-
narcotics are not.
Oh, I understand.
There's something about this though, so why don't you tell Michelle and say that again.
I know what I get what you're saying.
But you got
But
them
they-
administered at the jail.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she got them administered at the
And
jail
they
is what
do.
I'm hearing,
It
yeah.
depends on
Yeah.
Right.
the reason.
So then, Sandra just brought something up and tried to be simple about it, but she was remembering something. That the doctor was
there was a female
prescribing.
doctor's cardiologist that was said that she was going to send me back to the jail
Let her get
with a prescription to get Tylenol 3.
okay,
And Gonder stepped in. And I remember her kind of be going like, I'm the physician, I'm ordering this. And he's like, she can't have narcotics at the jail.
okay.
So it was Tylenol 3? I thought you just said it was something else.
Codeine.
Codeine.
Same.
Tylenol 3 is
with-
Oh, with
Yeah.
codeine,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Tylenol 3 is codeine.
So she
and-
ordered it and he was
behind her.
letting you guys know that you can't have it at the jail?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can't have, and I understand what Denise was just saying, maybe I
Okay.
didn't explain to her right.
And
She can't have it at the jail.
Yeah.
And she turned around, she goes, I'm the doctor, I'm prescribing her this medication. The jail can pretty much, but the point of it was that, I forgot about that. There was a few times, and that was one of them, where Gonder stepped in while the doctor was talking to state jail procedures, which I understand maybe he was just informing them,
Okay.
but I was staying at a different jail.
But they were wrong jail procedures
They
because
were
you got
wrong.
the narcotics.
Yes,
Yeah.
they,
Okay.
in Ramsey.
So it's possible that he was giving Dakota County's rules, but you were staying at Ramsey.
And I can be nice about it and say, yeah, he's being sweet, but my point is the doctor is talking to me.
Okay.
Is it his place to be standing behind and interjecting into the conversation? I can understand that after the conversation, he could say just FYI, that way, but he's involving himself into the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's enough, just to, you brought it up after, so no.
Because he
Michelle
reminds
knows.
me of things when I remember.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, I think I have everything that I need. Kind of told you what the next process is going to be. One of us or both of us will be in contact with you. It will take a while because it appears as though there are a lot of people that we at least try to speak with and get statements from. Whether or not they want to cooperate or even provide a statement will be up to them. Or we'll just throw the feelers out there and see what they want to do if they're willing to meet with us. And then once everything is completed, we'll let you know which direction it's going and when the investigation is done, so you can get copies of it if you need to.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're sure welcome. Thanks for driving all the way over here.
Ms. Everhall, what, if anything, would you like to tell me you were sentenced to?
Well, a fair trial includes the right to present a complete defense. I was made aware that I was also not provided with information on Christina Fox, all of the investigative data. I completed a consent form that was given to Stearns County to have that released, and that was willfully refused to be provided to my husband. So I didn't receive any of the preliminary audio statements on any of the witnesses, so I wasn't given the fair trial.